This is a message from your guides reading for Human Angel. Okay, so I have a couple of crystals here, and I also have a couple of runes here. So I have my Shadakite. I'm going to go ahead and surround us in some protective space with the Shadakite. Okay, so I have a guide coming up. She feels female, she feels angelic. And it's strange. It's like she's, I keep feeling that energy with you, like this angelic energy. And, but I don't mean from a guide, I mean coming from yourself. And it's almost like she's almost kind of stirring that up or using that to cleanse you of other things. But it's like she's pulling up your own energy. So it's like as you remove things that aren't you, then your real self can come up. But it feels like she's also bringing it up, and it's actually dispelling a lot of other things. When your true self comes up, obviously things like confusion would be dispelled. But also a lot of negative emotions are dispelled as well. But I feel like that's kind of a work in progress. So in other words, it feels like something that you're gonna feel accumulate over time as more and more is released. Because a lot of your lifetimes have to do with really emotional stuff that was held on to. It doesn't feel like it's just some mental belief or, you know, something like that, where just the belief goes and all of a sudden your life gets better. It feels like there are beliefs that go along with really deep emotions. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and show you this other crystal. So Shadakite, I know you've gotten this one before, so you might remember what this is about, but this holds a lot of earth energies. It's very grounding, really good for healing with earth energies, and then also a lot of higher chakra stuff. Empathy, third eye, you know, precognition and psychic abilities in general. And so then here I have my rose quartz. So this is a heart chakra stone, and it's all about harmony, balance, friendship, love, joy, a lot of positive, comforting emotions, healing. Okay, so then that brings me to my runes. So here I pulled Nauthiz. And this translates to need. That's what it means. And it has to do with need. It has to do with a lot of fears and lack and feeling restricted. And then I pulled, and I know that was kind of something that you were sort of referring to in your email as well. Then I pulled Ehwaz along with it. So this represents the yew tree. So together this is telling me that this is something that's really old. It's deeply rooted and deeply entrenched. It's definitely something that goes back to a past life. So when you're experiencing this kind of apathetic stuff, this like lackluster, and you feel like you have to like pull through this kind of nightmarish crap that's just like entrenched in there, these emotions, like what you're describing. So it's like in the moment there isn't always some reason to have such strong emotions about things. It can be a small thing, but this stuff is going back to a lot of past lifetimes with a lot of reasons to have really deep entrenched emotions, and then also some childhood stuff from this lifetime as well. And in this case, it kind of feels like both mothers. Like there are some things with both mothers. But I know that they've especially talked about your adoptive mother and issues that came from that. And that's because that's the person that you most associate with your mother, and in this lifetime, you know, that's the mother that you knew. That's the individual who actually cared for you like a mother would, that you would associate those kinds of feelings with. And so it always feels like they're going to speak about her more. And it feels like there are more kind of active issues that actually came from that. And again, that there are past lives that go back with this person that you have had before. And it even feels like she's been your mother before as well. So she definitely chose you in this lifetime, even if she didn't actually physically give birth to you. She definitely chose you, and you definitely chose her, for her to be your mother, as in for her to play that role. Okay, but this stuff is really, really entrenched. And so I almost feel like when these emotions come up, that I'm going to ask them about this, exactly how to do that, but it feels like you should look at it as an opportunity for you to work on removing and clearing out these emotions. And again, to know that they go back to a past life. So this isn't something like light or more on the surface that you're dealing with when you're going to go about clearing it. You need to kind of keep that in mind, because that's going to almost help you receive more how to remove it if you're thinking about something that's more heavy and deeply rooted, and it's been there for a really long time, and there are a lot of thought forms attached to this emotion, or emotions rather, versus something that's more kind of light and it's easier to remove, and it's just like a quick visualization. This just feels like something that's going to take some time to remove. It also feels like it's several things. It doesn't just feel like it's one thing. So for starters, one thing that your guides are saying is to really not blame yourself if you are kind of overcome sometimes by these emotions. Even though they're really negative, it feels like there's such a pattern and a tendency to do that, not only because of childhood, and even seeing things like that around you, like seeing, it feels like emotionally negative patterns around you, and people kind of giving off emotional charges, or having emotional reactions and triggers to different things, like people doing things that'll get other people to react, and people reacting to people in this kind of negative way and this kind of negative vibration. So it feels like not only have you seen that and kind of been around that to a degree, so not so much now, obviously, but not only have you had that in this lifetime and watched that kind of play out, but then also with these past lives, you've had a lot of that. So it's like step back and realize that you're not a victim to it, but that at the same time, this is really deeply rooted and really entrenched in there. And so it kind of feels like you can give yourself a little bit of a break, and realize they're also saying to give yourself a pat on the back. Like, you have done really well. These are just really entrenched thought forms and beliefs that you have. And so you've actually come through them quite well. Okay, so that is all for this week's reading. So I will see you next week. So thank you very much for another reading. Namaste.